What up, squad? Welcome back to the channel. So look, this is your no BS, straightforward guide to how to eat if you're trying to transform your body. I'm going to tell you exactly what to eat. I'm going to tell you what foods to avoid. I'm going to give you the details, and we're going to go straight into it right now. This is what we're going to do in this video. First thing, I'm going to teach you how to set up your tracking app, because listen, if you're not interested in tracking your calories, then this is not the video for you. I know some people say you don't need to track calories in order to lose weight. All right, that's fine. This video is for people who are committed to tracking their calories. I'm going to teach you about meal structure, which basically means your eating pattern. How many meals should you be eating? What time you should be eating? That sort of thing, right? We're going to go over that. I'm going to go over how to create your grocery list, how to organize your grocery list, how to pick foods for your grocery list. We're going to go over that. I'm going to give you my exact grocery list. So if you choose to eat exactly what I eat, you'll have access to that information as well. We're going to wrap up with the nutrition laws of weight loss, some really pivotal pieces of information that will help you significantly. So you make sure you watch that part of the video. Finally, we're going to go over exactly what not to eat, because there are a few things that you want to avoid like the plague. All right, so let's jump right into it. First things first, setting up your tracking app. My personal preference is the Lose It app or MyFitnessPal. There's hundreds of these apps. Pick which one you like. Once you download the app, you're gonna set up your calorie requirements. I personally like to take the calculations that the app gives, and then I do my own calculations using the bodybuilder.com calculator, just to make sure that it's giving around the same amount, right? Typically, the tracking apps do a pretty good job of giving you a really good place to start with your calories. So I also like to manually set your protein intake, because typically these apps, they're going to give you a very low protein intake. I don't know why they do that. I would have you set your protein at 0.75 grams, at least 0.75 grams per pound of body weight. So that means if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to set your protein to 150 grams. I have a video in the description, I'll link it, that teaches you exactly how to calculate your macros. So we're gonna move on. Meal structure. Listen, if you wanna eat 7 times a day, if you wanna eat once a day, it doesn't matter. Find an eating pattern that works for your schedule, that works for your goals, that works for your preferences. It's super important that it just fits. It doesn't matter. I do advise you to stop eating at least 2 hours before bed, right? Because it affects your sleep. Not because it affects your fat loss, it's because it affects your sleep. And if you're not sleeping well, you're probably going to struggle with fat loss. So meal structure, it doesn't matter. Take an assessment of your day. For instance, I don't eat any carbs until in the evening, because carbs typically make me foggy. So for that fact, I only eat fats and proteins early in the day. And I also don't really eat anything until at least noon. That's just because that works best for my brain, for my schedule, for my goals, for my morning. It depends. Figure out what works for you. It's gonna take some experimenting, but just know that meal patterns, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as you're getting the right amount of calories and protein every day, you're in a calorie deficit, your body's gonna change. All right, so creating your grocery list. Here are the categories that I like to use: protein, carbs, veggies, condiments, snacks, drinks. I'm pretending as if you're in the beginning of your journey, because a lot of this stuff, like the condiments, you probably won't buy that every time you go to the grocery store. But this is the category that I break down my grocery list into. Do not try to grocery shop without a list. You need a list. You need a list. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. I'm going to probably say that 17 more times during this video. All right, but before we go into the details of the grocery list, I have a special offer for you. I've never done this before. I'm giving a 50% off discount to everyone who's watching this video right now for the next 48 hours for my 12-week transformation jumpstart program. This is the best comprehensive weight loss program there is on the internet, because I'm not just giving you 12 weeks of workouts, I'm giving you 12 weeks of workouts. I'm not just giving you how to, I'm not just giving you information on how to make a meal plan. I'm giving you mindset. I'm giving you resources for you to study. Education is key. And this program has a lot of it. Education. It has everything that you need to get started on your journey. So take advantage of this sale. 48 hours, 50% off. After that, you can get 20% off, but all the details will be in the description based on what time, what day you're watching this video. Okay, first category. Now, I'm gonna go through these slides. I'm not gonna sit here and read all the foods on each of these categories. These are just some ideas for you to use to make your own list. There's gonna be a document in the description below where you can get the details. You can download a comprehensive overview of this entire video. All right, so take advantage of that. Make sure that you know where your protein sources are. If you're trying to get 250 grams of protein, it's going to be impossible to do that without intentionally buying and knowing exactly where your protein is going to come from each day. So for me, chicken, turkey, fish, eggs. Eggs is one of my biggest sources of protein. I use Greek yogurt, beans. So you just make sure that you focus on your protein sources, and that's why I'm starting the list with your protein sources. All right, next, your carbohydrates. Now, listen to me. Listen. Look me in the eyes right now. I want you to do some research on the glycemic index. All carbs are not created equally. There are some carbs that will spike your blood sugar, and that's what you want to avoid. You want to focus on high fiber carbs, carbs that will not affect your blood sugar in a drastic way. I only included those type of carbs on this list. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of different types of carbs, but I stick with quinoa, amaranth, barley, steel-cut oats, not your instant oatmeal. There's a difference. Brown rice, whole grain pastas, and I also started messing with the keto breads, the keto wraps, those sort of things. Beans, chickpeas, you guys get the picture. But do your research on low glycemic index carbohydrates. But most of my carbohydrate intake comes from fruits and vegetables. You want to make sure that you have a section of your grocery list for vegetables. Condiments. Condiments is such a huge part of this weight loss journey. You need to be able to enjoy your food. I'm a big fan of making sure that hot sauce is on point. I use low sodium soy sauce, pestos and vinaigrettes and healthy oils and salsas. And that is such a key piece to ensure that I enjoy my food, right? Especially when you're eating the same stuff. This is ways to add variety without it throwing you off too much. Be extra intentional about your condiments. Snacks. Here's some snack ideas. See, I eat a lot of the same shit over and over. I've been eating the same 17 foods probably for the last 10 years, and it just works for me. Protein bars, etc. All right, here's the sample grocery list. This is exactly what I eat. Pull this right from my grocery app, right? The app that I order my groceries from. All of this information you can download. Don't want to make this video too long because it's very straightforward. Really, you're gonna get the most value when you download the companion document that puts all the stuff in a list, in an organized document. Boom, boom, boom. Now, let's talk about the 11 nutrition laws of weight loss. The first one, you want to limit how much you eat out. If you're one of these folks who like to eat out 3, 4, 5 times a week, that's going to make it extremely difficult to lose body fat, because these places, when you eat out, they typically like to cook with a lot of sodium. They like to have a lot of oils and MSG and all sorts of additives to make you addicted to the food. So you want to limit how much you eat out. But if you do eat out, you want to make sure that you're able to accurately track your macros for that meal, and you want to make sure that you're ordering a protein-based meal. All right, second thing, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you want to schedule everything. Put it on your calendar when you're going to order your groceries, when you're going to do your meal prep, when you're going to do your cooking, when you're going to go to the gym, when you're going to stretch, when you're going to journal, when you're going to meditate. Put everything on your calendar. Don't try to freestyle the shit. If you're trying to freestyle weight loss, you're likely going to fail. So make sure you schedule everything in advance. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you take 30 minutes on Sunday and then 40 minutes on Wednesday to plan the next few days, plan the details, I promise you that will take you really far in this journey. Next thing, avoid eating starchy carbs by themselves. Don't ever just eat French fries. Don't ever just eat oatmeal. Make sure that it's paired with a protein, right? You'll eat oatmeal and eggs, right? You'll eat bread with chicken. You're never just eating bread. You're never just eating rice by itself. Always pair it with a protein or a healthy fat. Never just by itself. Next thing, don't drink your calories. You do not have to drink calories nowadays. It's such a waste of calories. There's so many amazing 0-calorie options to choose from. You're just literally wasting your budget, right? You got to think about your calorie intake like a budget. And if you can avoid spending your calories on drinks, you can eat more. Don't drink your calories. Next, focus on eating whole foods. The less processed foods you have in your diets. Whole foods meaning like fruits, vegetables, meats, things that are natural, things that have very little ingredients, right? Just what's the ingredients in chicken? It's chicken. What's the ingredients in broccoli? It's broccoli. What's the ingredients in goddamn rice cakes? Who knows? There's a whole bunch of shit that they put together in order to make rice cakes, right? Or to make insert whatever processed food that you like. So try to minimize processed foods and stick to foods that are just natural, whole foods. The next law, stay hydrated. You want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day. Do you have to drink a gallon? No. I probably drink about 2 liters of water every day. Rule number 7, make sure you're getting enough sleep. You want to ideally get about 7, right? I probably get about 5 or 6. If you can get 8, if your body lets you sleep 8, the better, right? Because that's where a lot of the repair, your body fixes itself, right? That's where a lot of the fat burning happens. The more hours you're sleeping, the less hours you're eating. Next thing, avoid added sugars and refined grains. Added sugars, refined grains, like these high glycemic carbs, they spike your insulin levels, they spike your blood sugar. And what happens is you get this increase of energy and then you crash. And when you crash, what happens? You're craving more sugar, you're craving more carbs. So you want to try to keep your blood sugar levels even, right? You want to keep it steady. That way you don't have these like crashes and your cravings are crazy and your energy levels are all over the place. Like, no, be super mindful of added sugars and refined grains because they fuck you up. All right, make sure you try to eat a balanced meal, right? This is law number 9. Each meal should have a mix of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Make sure that you're always getting your veggies in. Try not to just eat a carb and a protein. Make sure you have some healthy fats in there. Make sure you add some vegetables. I know vegetables can be considered carbs, but add some vegetables. Don't not eat vegetables. Eat your fucking vegetables. Manage your stress. This is tip number 10. Stress management is everything. It's on a physiological level that stress impacts you. When I'm stressed, I'm craving more foods. When I'm stressed, I don't feel strong. I don't feel energetic. So obviously those are some things that's going to affect your ability to lose body fat, right? If you don't feel energetic, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're craving sugar and carbs, it's going to be hard to lose weight. So try to manage your stress. And when I say manage your stress, that doesn't mean trying to get rid of stress. And maybe that means increasing your ability to handle stress by doing things to build your stress tolerance. But that's a whole nother topic in itself, a whole nother video. I'll save that. All right, last thing. You want to avoid eating late. You want to try to eat your meal at least 2 hours before going to bed. Your blood sugar is balanced. It's just a good idea to not eat anything 2 hours before you go to bed. All right, so let's talk about what not to eat. We're going to go over this list pretty quickly, right? But so let's skip over the obvious stuff. You shouldn't be eating cookies and cakes and donuts and shit. But let's talk about the refined carbs. You want to stay away from white breads, white bagels in general, pastries, crackers. Obviously, you want to stay away from fast foods. You want to stay away from processed meats, man. Those hot dogs and those deli meats and sausages and bacon and that sort of shit is horrible for you. You also want to stay away from these fake healthy foods like granola bars with a whole bunch of added sugar. You can have them, obviously, right? But just be mindful of the sugar content. Be mindful of what's in this stuff and eat it in moderation. I personally like to limit the amount of dairy, right? Full fat cheese, ice cream, etc. High sodium stuff, baked goods like muffins. Stay away from fucking ramen noodles and croissants and biscuits. These sort of foods, man, they fuck you up. I wanted to try to make this video as concise as possible. Let me know if you have any questions. This is the video that I wish I had access to. Watch this shit a few times. Make sure you download the companion document because it's gonna really, really help you when it comes to the process of making your grocery list. All right, so you wanna automate this. You wanna make sure that you plan everything. Fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right, squad, much love. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. And remember, the body that you want is owned by a higher version of yourself, so evolve.